Hello everybody, in this video I'm going to explain variable arguments, also known as Varargs, in Java. Variable arguments allow a method to accept a varying number of arguments. They make methods more flexible, and there's no need for overloaded methods. Overloaded methods are methods that share the same name, but have different parameters. In this example, I have several add methods. They each have different amounts of parameters. If I was to add a few numbers together, for example, I'll add 1 plus 2 plus 3, well then I would use this method. What if I told you instead of creating several different methods that basically do the same thing, we could instead create one method that accepts any number of arguments? We'll only need to declare one method. We will create one add method that accepts a varying amount of arguments. So let's create a method. The return type, let's say, is an integer. We'll create a method of add. Our method will have one parameter. What is the data type of the values we're sending this method? In this case, integers. We're going to follow the data type with 3 dots, an ellipsis. How this works is that the Java compiler is going to pack the arguments we send it into an array. We'll need a name for this array. Let's say numbers. Just to demonstrate this temporarily, I'm going to print my array of numbers. When we call the add method, we can send any number of arguments. For example, 1, 2, 3, 4. And they're going to be packed into an array. Within this method, we're now working with an array. Let's perform a test run. Let's return void, actually. So we're given a memory address of this array. Now let's actually add these numbers together. We need to cycle through the elements of this array. We can use a for loop or an enhanced for loop for that. So let's return an integer in this case. Let's declare a local variable of sum. I will set that to be 0. Let's create an enhanced for loop. The data type will be int for every number in my array of numbers. Let's take our sum and add the current number. Sum plus equals number. Then at the end, we will return our sum. And there we go. And then we need to print the output. I'm going to cut this and paste it within a print statement. Let's perform a test run. The sum, when we add these 4 numbers together, the sum is 10. And we can pass in any number of arguments. The result is now 21. Basically, the Java compiler is packing all of these arguments into an array when we send them to a method. Then within the context of this method, we would just need to work with this array, one way or another. But it's a lot easier than having several different overloaded methods. Okay, this time let's create a new method. We'll create a method of average. Average will find the average value of whatever we send it. So we will create a static method that's going to return a double this time. The method name will be average. What is the data type of what we're sending? Let's say double. Then we need the ellipsis, the 3 dots, then a unique name for this array. Let's say numbers. So to find the average, we can perform the following code. Let's say we have double sum. I will set that equal to 0. We will create an enhanced for loop. The data type is double. For every number in my array of numbers, do the following. We will take our sum and add the current number. Sum plus equals number. Then at the end, we will return sum divided by. Now, since we're working with an array, there is a built-in length property, numbers.length. To find the average, you take all the numbers, add them together, then divide it by the amount of numbers that you have. Let's perform a test run. I'm going to print, call the average method. Let's find the average of a few numbers. I don't know what that's going to be. So the average of these four numbers is 2.5. I can pass in any number of arguments. So the average of these numbers is 4.0. You can even pass in no arguments, if you so choose. But with this method that we have created, here's what happens. We're actually dividing by 0 because the length of our array is 0. There's no elements that we're passing in. In this specific example, let's create an if statement. If our array of numbers, if the length of it, we can access the length property, is equal to 0, let's return 0 instead of receiving not a number. We're calling the average method, but passing in no arguments this time. That would give us 0, because the length of our array is 0, because we're passing in no arguments. Alright everybody, so those are variable arguments. They allow a method to accept a varying number of arguments. It makes methods more flexible, and there's no need for overloaded methods. The Java compiler will pack the arguments into an array. When setting up the parameters of a method, declare the data type and add a suffix of an ellipsis, 3 dots. And well everybody, those are variable arguments in Java.